This is the DNVR Broncos Podcast, and today is going to be a fun show. We are talking through training camp battles, roster spots, starting jobs. Not many of those up for grabs, I guess. It should be a fun conversation before we get into the Chiefs at the end of the show and how they match up with the Broncos. Tune in. We're going to start in about 30 seconds. This is the DNVR Broncos Podcast, and I'm Henry Chisholm, joined by Ryan Koenigsberg and Super Bowl 50 champion Bennie Fowler. What's up, Bennie? When was the last time you were on? It's been a month or so?
On the show with you guys, it's been, probably like a month.
Yeah.
And then, been doing the one-on-ones with, our special guests and contributors like Dave Logan and Aqib Talib, Chris Harris. So good to be back, man. It's training camp's right around the corner. Very exciting. Very exciting. I get a little PTSD, though, around this time. Just like nervous energy, thinking back to, every year for me, it was you have to go out there and make the team.
Yeah.
And
true.
I was always freaking out about, are they drafting anybody? If they draft somebody, how do I get ready for the season?
Yeah.
Who's throwing me the ball? What do I do? What are the plays? So I'm a little on edge for the Broncos and then some of my buddies around that are still playing.
Was it easier when you were at the beginning of your career and undrafted guy, expectations are not that you make the team? Or was it easier a few years in when you made the team, and you still have to make the team again, though? Is there just more pressure there?
Yeah, there's definitely, as a rookie, you want to definitely make the team. I think, and this is a wrong thing. This was a wrong thing for me when I was first coming to the Broncos. I just kind of wanted to make the practice squad. And that's kind of my goal, and that's what happened. So I came here with a little bit of limiting beliefs, but, you have Demarius. They just signed Emmanuel, Wes Welker. Those are your three.
Yeah.
You draft Cody Latimer, who's second-round pick. We're both coming out of the Big Ten. Then you have Andre Caldwell. So those are your five right there. And then it's somebody like myself and Jordan Norwood. I forgot who else made the team that year, but you're not playing on offense at all. So you're trying to make it through special teams. Oh, Isaiah Burst made the team. He made the opening day roster, punt returner. So
he was electric too.
He was. Coming in as a rookie, it was definitely nerve-wracking because you're playing with Peyton. It's like studying for an exam every day. And then I led the team in preseason the next summer. So had a big game against Arizona, caught a lot of passes. But that's where Trevor and I got on the same page, and I was playing with Brock, and then make the team. You get the call from Tyke Tolbert. He said first, hey, man, we're going to have to cut you. And I was like, what? After the game I just had? And then he's like,
terrible.
nah, just kidding.
Damn. That's awful.
You made the team, and then then it hits you that you're actually playing, and then you're dressing every single game. But no, it was nerve-wracking every single year.
Yeah.
My contracts were never guaranteed.
Yep.
So you have to have perfect training camps. Every single year, you can't drop anything. And, that's the type of training camps that I had when I was here, or block a punt. I blocked a punt in my third training camp coming off the Super Bowl year. But, you have to do things every single year. And then they draft, Carlos Henderson going into my fourth year and Isaiah McKenzie.
Right.
So I had to have another perfect training camp because they brought those guys in to replace me and Cody.
Yeah.
And that ended up not working out for those guys.
Yep.
I don't even think they ended up playing any games here.
I don't think
Carlos
so.
Henderson sprained his finger or something on the first return of the preseason and never was on the field for the Broncos ever again.
Yeah. But yeah, it was awkward moments.
Did you feel like it was human nature to grade yourself after every day?
Have to. And then you have the coaches and you have these assistants that they bring in during training camp to tell you what they're kind of hearing in the personnel meetings. Because they are grading you every day. So you can't drop anything. Tyke was really good. He's not the receiver coach at Tennessee, but he was really good at hey, this is where everybody's at. And he was also really good at coming in training camp and saying, hey, Emmanuel and Demarius are the only people that are guaranteed to make the team. Just let you guys know that. Everybody else, all these other spots are up for grabs. And then it would just become competition. But it would be awkward to be sitting next to you in a receiver meeting room and not talk to you because we're competing for a job.
Yeah, that is weird. Do you think that sometimes we overrate whose job is safe? Like we look through the roster and say like, there's 45 guys who are making the team, when maybe the answer is really it's like there's 25, there's 30 guys who are actually like locked in, and everybody else, like they might get the benefit of the doubt if they have one drop during camp or miss a couple blocks or whatever, but they still do have to show up and show that at the very least they're the same player they were 8 months ago last time they were on a football field.
Yeah, pretty much the top 2 at every position
Okay.
are solid. So your guards, your tackles. But after that first wave, your first 2 receivers, like J.K. Dobbins and R.J. Harvey are the only people that are safe.
Yep.
Other than that, it's up for grabs. And, it really depends on training camp. Your first 2 weeks, there's a lot of evaluation because you're not playing against any other teams. But then when you start practicing against other teams, then the evaluation starts. Because, now the pressure's on. Because you guys remember the name Brendan Clay?
Yes, the running back
from Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Was an absolute animal for OTAs in the first 2 weeks of training camp. And then when we started playing,
didn't do anything.
He was non-existent. So you have moments like that.
Just killer.
Yeah.
That's terrible. Well, I imagine for a guy like that, he probably still thinks about that.
1,000%.
Like he's probably still 10 years later, 8 years later,
Hunter
still
Sharp.
thinking like,
You guys
if I
remember
was
the
just
name
that
Hunter
same
Sharp?
guy.
Yeah.
Hunter Sharp or Khalif Raymond coming into a
Yeah.
situation like that. Khalif ends up being a first-team All-Pro kick returner in Detroit.
Yeah.
He just couldn't make the roster here. It was hard for him to make the roster. Hunter Sharp had an incredible preseason.
Was he from Nevada?
Hunter Sharp?
Yeah.
Either Nevada. Yeah, I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
Came here and killed it. And killed it in the last preseason game and couldn't make the roster.
Yeah. Khalif Raymond, kind of similar to Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah.
Just did some things, wound up fumbling. Guy fumbles that much, you just can't justify keeping him around.
At all.
You can't fault the Broncos for making the decision to move on. And I believe also an all-pro returner, at least at one point, the
Khalif?
Bills. Isaiah McKenzie.
Yeah.
too. And he wound up with big numbers receiving a couple years ago, too.
Yeah, and Indianapolis or Buffalo?
Buffalo,
But
yeah.
training camp is always going to be interesting. Sean Payton, that's the hardest training camp I've ever been through in my life. And it was year 7 for me. And I thought, I knew the ropes, but, we were a dome team in New Orleans. And we practiced outside for 3 hours every day and conditioning. And he was like, oh, yeah, we're going to callus you guys up. What did you expect?
Yeah.
Speaking of awkward moments, I already told you my Isaiah McKenzie story.
Oh, no.
So we're in a press conference with Vance. Vance announces that Isaiah will no longer be the punt returner. He's fumbled too many times. So then we go into open locker room, and I go up right up to Isaiah, and I was just like, hey, just wanted to get your reaction to, no longer being the starting punt returner. And he's like, well, you're getting my first reaction because no one told me that. And I was just like, oh, man. And then he, went off about how it was unprofessional that no one told him.
It's not wrong.
And he's not wrong at
not
all.
wrong for being benched either, but yeah.
So, yeah, that was awkward for me. I was like, sorry. I don't know what to say.
Yeah.
I can't believe we were actually in their locker room with each other
I know.
and didn't build a friendship there.
Yeah.
I feel like we had some good talks.
Did we?
Yeah, for sure.
Well, I was
Sound
never.
memorable.
I'm not an asshole. So.
You also didn't love the media being in the locker room, I feel like, which is understandable.
Yeah, because for me, I don't know. There were probably different times when I don't hate the media. I'm now a part of the media.
Yeah.
But I think the locker room was always a safe place for me. And then getting off that season, I got off to an incredible start. 2 touchdowns on Monday night. Blah blah blah. I have a crazy concussion against the Cowboys, and then my season isn't the same. So my play was up and down, and then it was awkward between me and Cody, and we lost 8 straight, and everybody's fighting for their job. So I probably didn't want to talk to anyone.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody likes having the media in there. I don't think anybody's oh, this is a cool thing. They might realize the value or embrace it because it's something to deal with. I feel like just about everybody would say we can either have reporters in the locker room or not. Maybe
Everyone
not
would
every
vote
time.
against it for
Yeah.
sure.
I prefer to go talk hey, we'd like to talk to Benny today. And then we go and we have a place where we talk, not in the locker room
Yeah.
we're decompressing after practice. Tyke might have told me, hey, you're not starting this week or you're not dressing. And now I have to talk to you. You're just doing your job, but
Totally.
I am a human, you know?
Yeah,
Totally.
the hard thing for me, and the reason why I think open locker room is valuable, and this, not to go down a diatribe of this, but it's like, I wanted to come in there just to talk to you guys. I really didn't want to stick a recorder in your face. And so then if it's like Benny's talking today, it's like, okay, now I have to like, everyone's getting their questions.
Give me my
like,
3 questions.
Yeah, exactly. Where it's like, I would just like to go in there, especially with like, I built a good relationship with Vaughn and Shane Ray. So I would just like go in there and like ask them questions without the recorder. Like, hey, what happened on this play? Or like, can you explain to me this concept or whatever?
Yeah.
And that's like, to me, a million times more valuable than being like, Benny, what do you think of the Cowboys secondary this week? You know, like,
Oh,
it's
they're
just like,
solid. They're pretty good. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know. They've struggled in a couple games, but we know they're more capable than that. So we're not taking it lightly.
That's where you can have like actual conversations and like maybe get to know a few guys.
And you like learn things about people too. I remember Melvin Gordon in there. There was one day he's running around with this massive like WWE championship belt. And it's like, okay, what's that? And so I go talk to him. He's like, oh, this is the Uno championship belt. It's like, there's an Uno championship belt. Okay. And he's telling me all about the Uno tournaments. And you start like watching the Uno tournaments. It turns out to be like a cool story that like humanizes a bit, because like, yes, they're all like whatever, but also they're all just kind of like goofy kids right
Having
now,
fun,
just
yeah.
playing Uno
Playing
every
kids
day
game.
and taking it very serious. There was the video games, of course. I guess that's no surprise, but hearing there's a group that plays a lot of Madden in that college football game.
Yep.
So again, it's more like that human interest story. And I think it's helpful to like humanize athletes a little bit, because when somebody makes a mistake, it's just like, oh no, I hate that guy. Or like there's that big story about Joel Embiid that came out yesterday. I'm not sure if you read it, but it's like 6,000 words. No. And for the first time I was like, oh, I feel bad for this guy. And I've hated him for forever. And it's like, you know what? He's a person. I shouldn't treat him this way.
Don't feel bad for him.
Yeah. He's
Making
fun.
$50 million this year.
He's fun.
Take care of your body. But, you know, I do wish fans and the media, I think Hard Knocks used to do a really good job of showing the insides of things.
Yeah.
I think quarterback is really doing that. I wish the media could go into like first
Film
and second
room.
down meetings
Yeah.
and like watch us install plays and why we're coming up with different concepts. I think that would be really interesting. We would just have to do like the Men in Black, you know, make you forget everything.
Yeah,
So you
yeah.
don't go like, hey man, they got some really cool trick plays drawn up. But I think a lot of people don't actually understand the study part and the implementation part that goes into like, oh no, we're installing an entire offense to beat the Cowboys this week.
I think there was a coach for the Vikings. I can't remember who it was, but he would have like optional, like essentially like film rooms for the media.
Really?
To just be like, hey, here's what actually happened. Like, you guys all said that Benny ran the wrong route, but actually what happened was Benny ran the right route, but the guy behind him ran the wrong route, which pulled the defender into his space, and that's why it was a pick. And like that stuff to me is so valuable, but I also understand why coaches don't have time or desire to do that.
Well, that's what we're doing at DNVR. I mean,
Yes,
we have that
perfect
film
timing.
session. Yes.
Exactly. We've got a bunch of position battles to talk about. Before we jump in, though, should probably go give a shout out to some of our friends, including our great friends over at HelloFresh. HelloFresh is an awesome company. They're very innovative, and they're always doing new things. Like, it was a new thing, I guess, 10 years ago now, when they started just shipping you all the ingredients with the recipes, making it super easy so you can skip the trip to the grocery store. Now, though, they'll also send you the ready-made meals. So all you have to do is pop it in the oven or pop it in the microwave, and you have a meal right there ready to go. They're chef crafted, they're flavorful, and they're ready in just 3 minutes. So you can dig in and you can go do summer right by not thinking too much about how you have to eat. Southwest inspired chicken bowl, stir-fried udon. Is that the word? UDON?
Yes.
Udon noodles.
I've thought both of you is definitely eating that. There's no way. Yeah.
Delicious.
A whole bunch of good stuff. They use great ingredients, seasonal stuff. 60 different recipes every week, including those prep and bake. Make your summer enjoyable and delicious by signing up for HelloFresh at HelloFresh.com/Broncos10FM and then get 10 free meals with a free item for life. That's HelloFresh.com/Broncos10FM. Get 10 free meals and a free item in every box. HelloFresh.com/Broncos10FM. 1 per box with an active subscription. Free meals are applied as a discount on the first box. New subscribers only. Varies by plan.
Also, shout out to our friends over at not the second bank, not the third bank, First Bank.
Yes.
Whether you're on the road or at home or somewhere in between, First Bank makes banking easy, convenient, and secure. Their mobile banking app allows you to check balances, pay friends, and manage your money anytime, anywhere. And here's the best part. Open a new First Bank checking account and get $300. First Bank is all about helping you stay on track. Their tools make it simple to stay in control of your finances without the hassle. No matter where life takes you, First Bank gives you the freedom to bank how and when works best for you. So if you're ready for better banking and the chance to earn a little extra, head to efirstbank.com/bonus. That's efirstbank.com/bonus to open your account. Shout out First Bank.
All right. You brought up the running backs.
Yeah.
Only 2 running backs are safe. To me, that's probably the biggest battle on the roster.
You think so?
I think so. I mean, the positioning for like wide receiver 3 is going to be interesting, or even wide receiver 2.
Battle for wide receiver 2, I think, is huge.
Yep. At the very least, though, you pretty much know which receivers are making the team.
Yep.
With that third running back spot, there's guys who will not be on the roster because of this.
Yeah.
I'd like to first say that it's kind of comforting that it's not like who's going to be the quarterback or who's
Yeah, that is really nice. That's really nice.
Who's going to be CB1? Like,
Yeah.
There's so much on this roster that's in place that like we're talking about running back 3 as the most intriguing battle.
Yeah.
That's huge.
Yeah.
That tells you that like you have a solid foundation, in my opinion.
100%. I want to know what you guys think. Who gets the bulk of the carries for the first half of the season? Who is the running back on play number 1? Is it Dobbins? Is it Harvey? You know, Dobbins obviously has the injury history. I trust him more on third down to pick up blocks if there's a blitz. But RJ Harvey's got the speed and he's young.
Yep.
You know, he's got the home run speed. So I think there is a position battle in terms of who's getting the bulk of the carries. You know, if we run the ball 25 times, is it 15 for Harvey or is it 15 for Dobbins? Like, what do you guys think?
I have gone back and forth on this because I can't decide if Sean Payton's going to be the type of guy who says, like, this is our guy, this is our rookie, let's throw him into the fire and just go. Yeah. Or if he's going to be the type of guy that's like, hey, look, I kind of trust my vets more here. Let's start with Dobbins. But I think I'm leaning towards, look, we brought in RJ Harvey to be the guy. Let's have him go and then kind of, for lack of a better term, load manage J.K. Dobbins so that we can have him for the full season, which hasn't really happened in his career.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's Dobbins up early. I think there's a part of me that thinks that like an old school football coach coming into this situation, if you were to tell him like, hey, first play of the season, we're either giving the ball to the veteran running back or the rookie running back. Say, like, don't give it to the rookie on the first play. That's just asking for, like, some sweaty palms or something to go wrong.
Or he tries to bounce it and
exactly.
loses 4.
Just give the ball to the guy who's been here before, let him get the season off the ground, and then open things up from there.
Yeah. I actually will push back on you, Henry.
Okay.
I think that Sean Payton is the type to just actually, you know, give him the ball first to get the nerves out of the way and then bring Dobbins back in. I think Dobbins does start the season off for the Broncos. I think he had a decent year last year, and I think if we can get some of those, you know, what do you have, 800, 900 yards last year? I think that would be a home run if we can get 800 yards. We don't need as many carries as he got with the Chargers. So I see Dobbins really coming in as that veteran presence. I think he can calm that running back room down. I think it's very different when you go out there on an opening day and what that's like in terms of the crowd and, you know, now everything really counts. So I think Dobbins really steps up and he takes that position over during training camp. And I think just teaches RJ really how to be a pro. And then I see RJ Harvey midway through the season becoming the workhorse back.
Yep.
And Sean's always had a 2-back system, and when I played with him, we had Latavius Murphy and Alvin Kamara, and those were our guys, and you split the carries. But, you know, I see R.J. Harvey as our screen back for sure.
Absolutely.
He's the screen. He's the catch. He's the back that's catching the ball.
And speaking of Sean, his first game as the Broncos coach, the season opener 2 years ago, he began the game with an onside kick.
Yep.
So maybe there is something not super risk averse in those situations.
That was such a pat on the back, self pat on the back.
Absolutely, but it's like what the fans want. Like everybody's been so excited about Sean Payton for months now, and he shows up and pulls out like his signature move.
Yes,
it didn't work.
No, I'm just curious, like with the running back. So like there was I forget, an old hitting coach for the Rockies who said basically he tells all of the minor league call ups like, your first at bat, just try to hit a home run. Like, you only get one first at bat. It's so legendary if you hit a home run. If you strike out swinging, like you just strike out swinging. No one will blame you for that. But
one
like,
of
you
the
should try to
27
hit
outs,
a home run. But then that also reminds me that didn't Audric Estime fumble on his first carry?
Was it the first one? I believe it.
I think
it was early on.
And then I think Royce Freeman might have fumbled on his first carry. Or no, it was Devontae Booker.
Okay.
Devontae Booker, I think, fumbled on his first carry.
Did he
so
really?
You really don't want to do that. I think he did.
Wow.
Yeah.
Booker's a good player.
Yeah. Eventually it's Harvey. I think, again, the Lions running backs are kind of the example here. Like, you're hoping for your David Montgomery and your Jahmyr Gibbs. And if your Jahmyr Gibbs is so good that you don't just want to like throw him the ball or give him the ball in space, that you actually want to like run between the tackles, that's awesome. But you might as well save some of those hits for later in the year.
Could you imagine if we have that type of dynamic running back duo? I mean, if we have that type of duo, even if it's half of that, but it's just as exciting. I mean, we were talking about it off air. You know, if the Broncos, just because we have a top 5 offensive line, if our running game is somewhat competent in terms of them finding the holes, we're going to have a really exciting year. Yeah.
I mean, if you can just run the ball and play defense, 11 wins is on the table. Like, 100%. You watch the Steelers every year, and they've hardly been able to run the ball even. They certainly haven't thrown the ball, and it's still enough, like 9, 10 wins. You throw in, like, Bo looks pretty good. He takes a step. That's why it's all right there for him.
100%. I mean, you can talk yourself into getting really, really excited about what this team can be. Basically, if you can just convince yourself to run the ball well.
Yep.
So much else, you're just like, okay, like Sean's going to take care of the passing game. Bo's going to be able to deliver. The defense is going to be elite. It's just like, that's the one piece where it's just like, if you can convince yourself that this team will have a good running game, then I think the sky's the limit.
So we got to throw it out there because we're playing football here. Somebody's going to get injured.
Yes.
So who's running back number 3?
Yep.
Somebody's getting injured. They might miss 1 game. They might miss 2 games. But Dobbins has an injury history. RJ might have some nicks and bruises here. You never know. So who's RB3 and who's our 4th? Who's going to be on practice squad in terms of making us feel comfortable that things do not fall off?
I think practice squad is the place I start. Because to me, the question is, between Jaleel and Audric, who do you feel is more likely to get to the practice squad? Because that might kind of make the decision for you. And a lot can change in the preseason, because if Jaleel is just carving up, backups and third stringers, somebody's going to claim him. But I'm not really sure which one, if either, you could really get to the practice squad. Like, you really might be able to only keep 3. Especially if you're keeping Michael Burton. You assume the 7th round tight end who can't really block makes the team. Then you got him and Ingram, so you probably want 2 real blocking tight ends. Yeah. You've already got all the receivers. Like, there isn't really an extra roster spot for a 4th running back unless something crazy happens.
There's sometimes in business where, like, you have an employee and you like them as a person and you think they have talent, but they're kind of letting you down, and you're like, I can't fire them. I'm not going to fire them. But it'd be nice if someone just came and took them.
Yes.
They come to you, they're like, hey, I got another offer for a bigger, and you're just like, dang, man, we can't match that. Like, best of luck.
Yep.
From what I've heard, I wouldn't be surprised if they feel similarly about Audric. It's like, okay, we spent a draft pick on this guy. He has a lot of potential. Feels like there's some maturity issues, which maybe you should have known when you drafted a 20-year-old.
There is that.
But, like, it's like, I don't know. You don't want to cut him.
I also, in terms of...
So I'm like, if you put him on the practice squad and someone comes and swoops him up, you're kind of like, well...
If we're going to make... all right, so if we're going to make the playoffs and one of our first 2 backs goes down, who do you trust more?
So the crazy thing is, I trust... trust is the wrong word. I think Audric Estime's profile fits the playoff football better because, again, like, you look through all those Patriots teams where it's just like, Leonard Fournette, 4 yards a carry. Lawrence Maroney, 4 yards a carry. Like, sometimes you just need to be able to grind those out. Kareem Hunt, what he did for the Chiefs, I guess not so much last year, but in the past. Like, I think Audric Estime's ability to just keep you on schedule and move you down the field is more valuable in the playoffs. He also fumbles the football, which might just be disqualifying. And it was last year because he didn't even get a uniform.
Yeah.
I like how 2 different people will say, that I'm that employee. I still get my job, but people like me.
Yeah.
Personality hire. Also, it's a real thing.
Audric, the maturity issues, I'd call it like youthful confidence. Like he goes out there and thinks like, oh, I'm about to like rip these guys up. Because he is like one of the smartest guys on the team. I think like one of the most responsible guys on the team. He also just gets so distracted by, I want to go run for 50 yards. Maybe instead I should just put 2 hands on the football.
I think maybe, he's going into his second year, correct?
Second. I know.
Yeah. So,
And he's young as
He'll
hell.
turn 20. He's still the youngest player on the team. He'll turn 22 the week before the season.
I think year 1 to year 2, we talk about this a lot with Bo, but year 1 to year 2 for Estime might also change him in terms of how he thinks. A second OTAs, second year being in the offense, but then the running back coach, those things start to hit home. Those sayings that the running back coach is saying, what he's talking about, how he's being taught, maybe those lessons hit home. You've been benched and you've had your uniform taken away from you. Now you know they don't need you, and they drafted RJ Harvey. So the competition in the room is huge, and it's really important.
Have you heard the Barry Sanders, Jerome Bettis story? So Sean told the media this, right?
Yeah. Well, now that he told the media, I can tell a story because I was the only one standing right there. We're just staying in the locker room. Like, I can't remember who I was waiting to talk to, but Sean comes in and like, cause he's rarely in the locker room. Like, you don't see him in the locker room very often.
Usually,
he has other bigger things to do, and just goes up to Audric's locker, slaps a picture in there, and tapes it up there. And on one side it's Barry Sanders, and he's just X'd out, and the other side is Jerome Bettis, and then just walks straight out. Doesn't really look at anybody. Doesn't really do anything. And then, as he told reporters, he had the conversation with Audric, saying, "Know who you are as a player. You don't need to be trying to hurdle guys." Although he did hurdle a guy, he just later on in the play fumbled. Like, you got to be the big back who just plows forward. And there's something to that, but at the same time, like, Jerome Bettis was 250 pounds.
Yeah.
Like, Audric Estime is not going to be Jerome Bettis. And I think Sean has always had a fascination with Jerome Bettis, which is why maybe he took the Notre Dame running back, the big back who kind of runs that way. But I don't think it's wrong, but I think there's like somewhere in between.
But the kicker to that story is that when asked about it, Audric said, "Well, I'm not trying to be Barry Sanders or Jerome Bettis. I'm trying to be Audric Estime." And it's like, I don't know if the message landed with you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
yeah, there is that.
Audric, you missed the
Might
whole
have
point.
been listening to me too much.
You missed the whole point. You know what? That's really interesting. I had a similar conversation with Sean when I joined the New Orleans Saints. He kind of like took me through the roster and told me, like, don't expect to get the ball here. Like, here's Michael Thomas, here's Emmanuel Sanders, here's Jared Cook, blah, 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 down the list. Like, you're here for special teams and to be a role player and support. And I think Sean really drives home in terms of what your role is on the team. The question is, does Audric now understand that?
Yeah.
And I think that message hits home a little bit more when they draft somebody at your position, even though they drafted you the year before. They drafted somebody higher than you. So now you know.
And 3 years older.
What do I need to do to make the team? Because now you don't have any carries right now. You're not getting the ball at all.
0.
You're playing special teams, and you're there if somebody gets hurt. So now the 4 yards and the Jerome Bettis thing hits home for you a little bit more now, and I think it will hit home for him. We'll see first preseason game. Hey, man, don't be trying to bounce it outside. Stop trying to hurdle people. Just get 10 yards. Let me see some physicality.
If the C's part, then show off your speed straight ahead.
100%. So I have him as back number 3. McLaughlin, I think, is on our practice squad because I think RJ Harvey's just our scat back.
I think so, too.
Receiving back now.
And the tough part with Jaleel, like, we've seen what he does. Like, you get him the ball in place. He's a playmaker. He's quick. He can give you a little zigzag and get going. Between the tackles, he's just not really built for that. Like, pass protection isn't great, which makes the third down use tough. Just because, you want him out there to catch passes. At the same time, if they're rushing 6, what are you gonna do?
It's
like, are you really just gonna throw it out there and drop? Exactly. And so that makes it tricky. He's also a guy who ran like a 4.5 40, and so he's not the fastest in that role. But then you watch him play, and you watch him get the ball on the edge and turn the corner when you don't think it's possible and score a touchdown. You're just like, well, what do we do? And there is just like a proven value there in that there is something that he's done well. Like those stretch runs, you give him to the boundary, you throw him the ball out there. He has been pretty productive on those. Whereas with Audric, there's the one game. There's that Chiefs game. They should have won. They missed the field goal. But that last drive, 13 plays, I think 6 of them are just handing it to Audric. And he's just, again, Lawrence Maroney, bang, 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 straight ahead, get him in a field goal range. But other than that, you haven't seen all that much from him.
How many times do you think Sean showed him that drive during the offseason?
Probably quite a few.
Because that's one of the things that's a little inside baseball for the fans out there in terms of OTAs. We rewatch a lot of the games during OTAs, and they emphasize certain things. And they emphasize all the highlights. I bet you he showed him that, and I bet you that's just like a clip and a cut up on his iPad. Hey, these are all your positive plays. They don't have any of his explosive plays on there. This is what we want from you.
Yeah.
I love that. I am going to say that Jaleel makes the team.
Okay.
Audric goes to the practice squad.
Audric to the practice squad?
Yeah.
Okay.
And those of you who have been listening all offseason have noticed that I've done a complete 180.
Former president of the Audric Estime Believers Club.
Yep.
Yes.
And maybe if you read between the lines, you can figure out why. But yeah, it's been a crazy turn of events for me over the last 2 months. But yeah,
Sure has.
I think he's going to the practice squad.
Sure has. Before we get into the other positions, gotta give another shout out, and this one's gonna be a fun one. You guys should join, actually all three of us,
Yep.
in London as we go watch the Broncos play the Jets.
Yep.
I blanked on it for a
We
second.
got Benny and the Jets.
Yes,
Let's
Benny
go.
and that's right.
Let's go.
Benny says he's actually going to London tonight.
Yes, I am.
What?
going
Get
to
a little
London tonight.
preview of London.
Yeah, I'm just going to scope out the scene
Exactly.
for everybody and make sure.
Report back.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
having a hell of a summer, man.
I'm trying to. I got my
Yeah, I know.
hat
We're
on.
going to talk about that before the
that
show
is
ends.
awesome. That is so sick. But yeah, I mean, I'm personally in like a Europe phase watching the U.S. Open, or not the U.S. Open, the Open, as they say. I call it the British Open because I'm American, so gotta send the shots. Looks awesome. Can't wait to get out there. You guys should come with 5-night stay at a luxury hotel, private tours, pub meetups, pep rally, a whole bunch of all-inclusive stuff, and tickets to the big game. Travel across the pond with true diehards and experience London the DNVR way. Don't miss out on the ultimate fan experience. Book now at truefantravel.com.
Love it. True Fan Travel, experts in fan travel.
Truly.
Empire Today, experts in flooring.
Yes.
And one might be a little
Yes.
more exciting than the other, but
Yep.
the less exciting one's a lot more necessary.
I wonder if they can provide floors in London. They might just be U.S. based.
Yeah,
I
London
don't know.
not empirical.
True.
Anyways,
Interesting.
shout out to our friends over at Empire Today. They put the floor underneath us in here, and they are the best in the business when it comes to flooring. They don't focus on anything else. They're just experts at putting a wonderful floor underneath your feet. So if you want a free in-home estimate and $350 off when you install their lovely floors, go to empiretoday.com/DNVR. That's empiretoday.com/DNVR. Code DNVR to get $350 off your brand new floor from Empire Today.
All right. We talked running backs. What about
Really
these
quick,
receivers?
How long are you going to London?
I am going to London for 3 days. I got one of my high school buddies is getting married over in London.
Why? Why London? Does he live there?
I think his wife, his soon-to-be wife,
okay.
is over from London. So Ray McCallum, good friend of mine. He's my point guard in high school.
Nice.
I'm going to just actually shout him out a little bit. McDonald's All-American.
Oh,
got
wow.
drafted by the Spurs.
Okay.
But has been playing overseas for... No, got drafted by the Kings. But has been playing overseas for the last 10 years. So 5 years in the NBA, 10 years overseas, crushing it. But yeah, he is getting married, and my wife and I are excited. So we're going over to London for a couple days.
Sweet.
My dad used to live over in London when he was the COO at Jaguar and Land Rover. So like it's my first time going back since he was living over there.
Okay.
And then we're going to Paris. I've never been to Paris.
Awesome.
Yeah. So I'm
Awesome.
excited to do that and see that. And it'll be a good time.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Do you like Indian food?
I'm okay. It's okay.
Okay.
Yeah. But I know it's huge in London.
Yeah. I was going to say, there's a restaurant, Dishoom, that I've been thinking about since the last time we were in
So
London.
I should go there.
If you're going to
I'm
get
into
Indian food, yes.
Okay. Cool.
It's so good.
Any good spots, good music, clubs?
I mean, I'm sure we have a lot of people in the
Yes.
chat. We have a ton of Broncos fans over in the UK. So
Yes.
tweet at Benny and give him some
Get the
Give me some
recommendations,
recommendations. And if you want
some
to
nightlife recommendations.
Yes.
if you want to hang out and party, I'm all for it.
All right. Wide receivers. Courtland Sutton, wide receiver 1.
Yep, for sure.
Is it just Marvin Mims as wide receiver 2 and we leave it at that?
Not
No.
to me.
I agree.
Yeah, not to me. Should I start?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think wide receiver 2 is the most interesting battle. I think it's the most interesting battle in terms of the offensive side of the ball. Who is going to be, Courtland's your number one, and then you have Evan, who's your other main target, but he's not a receiver. But when we're talking about who is the complement to those two guys, is it, to me, I am picking DeVaughn Vele to get more passes. I think having, what he can do in the slot as a taller body, the rapport and chemistry that he built with Bo, I think is great. When I went out to practice, when we were out at practice during OTAs, I mean, he has to be one of the smoothest. He has to be the smoothest receiver in the receiver room now in terms of getting in and out of breaks, fluid runner. I'm not saying he's the best receiver in the room. Courtland's the best receiver in the room. But in terms of fluid mover, running, in and out of breaks, the way he catches the ball, things just look easy to him. And, I was talking to Marcus Colston about that. And, I'm trying to get him to join a live show one day to talk about what it's like being a taller receiver in Sean Payton's offense. But Sean definitely has a type. And I think he's compared Vele and Marcus Colston in terms of what they do in terms of slots. So I have Vele with the number 2 spot. And I think the number 3 spot is up for grabs between Franklin, Pat Bryant, and Mims.
Sheesh.
I know Mims went crazy at the end of the season. But, man, Franklin, when you're out there and you watch him run, you're like, bro, he should be
totally
receiver 2.
I'm also curious, how much does it matter? 2 versus 3 versus 4 versus maybe even 5 in a Sean Payton offense? Because he rotates that personnel more than anybody.
Amount.
Okay.
It matters a tremendous amount to Bo, for Bo.
Huh.
Not necessarily for the receivers. But you're talking about, okay, Courtland, hopefully he catches 80 balls. We want to see Evan in the 50 to 65 range. You want your second receiver to be in that 50 to 65 range as well. Like, think about Demarius and Emmanuel. I mean, they both caught 100 passes in the same season. Think about what that does for a Peyton Manning. Think about when I played in Sean's offense in 2020, you knew it was Michael Thomas, and then you knew it was Emmanuel. Like, bottom line, Emmanuel's going to catch 50 passes. Michael Thomas is going to catch 100 balls. Like, so you need that, and that's the chemistry and that's the continuity that we want to see with Bo. And that's why I feel like Vele, having 43 catches as a rookie, and he was really competing with Franklin at the beginning of the season. Does Sean just say, hey, we're rolling with Vele as number 2. Vele catches 50 balls. I would say 25 or 30 of those are going to be first downs just based off of his body and the way he plays in the offense.
The parts of the field that he plays in.
Yeah.
The situations. I went back and watched all of the out routes that Bo threw last year. Just because.
I love that.
Yeah, well, because
PFF login.
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
You can literally do that.
I know, it's incredible. I was like, I wonder, because we always talk about the arm strength and is he capable of making that throw? And I was kind of surprised, even to the far hash. Like in college, it shows up a little bit when you go the far hash from the wide hashes. It's that's where the arm strength. You're like, I don't know with Bo, can he actually do it? In the NFL, the extra 5 yards, whatever it is, where the field is narrower, that was enough. But the point is, watching DeVaughn Vele on all of those, it really is just incredible because it isn't perfect route running or anything. It's not like he's just shaking him or moving, but he's just so big. Yeah. He's able to plant his foot, get his body in a little bit, reach out, and then basically Bo has anywhere between his shoulders and his fingertips. You place the ball, DeVaughn's going to find a way to come down with it.
Yeah.
And I think there's just so much value in that versus, Troy Franklin, who provides the value of going deep. We talked Bo yesterday, and I went back through the film room I wrote after the draft. The only real good deep ball I saw Bo through where he hit a receiver in stride was to Troy Franklin at Oregon, and it just bounced off his hands. And we've seen too much of that from him still in the NFL to say okay, if you're Tyreek Hill light, that's awesome. That's a game-changing player. If you can't catch the ball, we can't keep trying that though, because even if it's a first down, well, guess what? Now it's 2nd and 10 half the time because you just can't bring the ball in. And DeVaughn Vele just being so reliable. It may not be the explosive plays that Troy has, but at some point, and the Broncos decided last year that they were at the point where they say, let's just give the ball to him because good things happen when we do it.
100%.
I guess the way I'm looking at this, and maybe it's wrong, is Marvin Mims just has such a specific role that you don't necessarily have to slot him into one of these positions. It's wide receiver 1, 2, 3. I don't know.
It's almost just gadget guy.
Yeah, he's gonna have a huge stack of plays in the playbooks that are let's get Marvin Mims in space and get him the rock. And so it's like it's so hard for me to slot him in there because Vele, like you guys have mentioned, is like such a perfect fit for what Sean wants to do. Pat Bryant also is, he compared him to Michael Thomas. So you got your Michael Thomas, you got your Vele, and then you have Courtland Sutton, which is kind of a mix of both.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I don't know where to put Marvin Mims other than just like he's going to be on the field. He's going to get the rock.
He's your mini Joker.
Yep.
I think, Mims will have 15 to 20 carries, and I think he'll have 30 to 35 catches.
48% of his targets last year were screens.
48%?
Which is a ridiculous percentage.
How many catches did he have?
I can check, but I mean,
I want to say it was like around 40.
I think it might have been like 36.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
36 catches. Sounds all right.
39. You were right. Yeah, there you go. But I wonder, again, first of all, you hope Marvin just kind of rounds things out. You hope that all those in-breaking routes, he's finally found a way to win on them. Because I think it's tough for him because he's not the biggest guy. He's fast, and that can provide separation. But if you're getting swallowed up at the line of scrimmage, or even if you get a free release, you make your break, it takes a couple steps to get up to speed and to pull away and create some separation. It just hasn't translated. If that all comes along, then it's really easy to get excited about him. Even if he's still just like, hey, we're going to dump it off to him on a screen and let him run, or we're going to send him deep and he's going to clear space, or maybe we hit on a couple of them over the course of the year, there's still value there. It's just that role kind of, it tops out at like 600 yards.
Yeah. I think Broncos fans should always be excited about Marvin Mims, and I agree with both of you. Like, the deep posts, the deep routes, for sure, and those screens and the trick plays and the jet sweeps, that's Mims all day. Where I get worried as a fan of the Broncos and wanting to see them do well is that Bo is going to be used to, during training camp, for the most part, and throughout the season, throwing to bigger people. You have a 6'5" Evan Ingram, you got a 6'5" Courtland Sutton, you got Vele, and then now you got Pat Bryant. If you get used to throwing big targets, you're not going to find Mims at all on any of those plays.
It's true. That is true.
Well, what was the crazy number that Zach put on Mims? Because he's not here to be the guy who's so high on Mims. I think he said like
I think he said he thought 1,000 was
1,000 yards was on the play. So like,
well,
no chance.
I also agree with that. No chance. But there is you look through the last few games last year, which is the only real case you can make for that. Last game of the year, I guess Buffalo 2 catches for 12 yards, so that's not it. But 51 yards, 2 touchdowns the week before, 103 yards, 2 touchdowns the week before that.
That was 62, the Cleveland game, the 103
That was
yards?
Cincinnati, yeah.
Cincinnati. Oh, Cincinnati.
So
he also had
Cleveland,
105 against Cleveland before that. So you did see that. But again, like, that's how you do it. You do it by, this is one of the games where I have a 60, 70-yard touchdown, and then also 2 other catches for another 10 yards.
People should go back to watching some New Orleans film. Like, that's what Deontay Harris, Deontay Hardy was for Sean Payton. We call him Shorty B in New Orleans, and he was Marvin Mims. He was our punt returner, screens, the deep post across the field, and he'd have big games, and then he had games where, he's only going to catch a couple passes. And I don't think, he's not going to have 1,000 yards. That's just not fathomable in this offense because he's a smaller player. Like, I don't even know anybody his size that's had 1,000 yards in a season.
Totally.
I mean, is Tyreek Hill his size?
Yeah.
And we're not going to compare him to Tyreek Hill
because that would be crazy. But that's kind of the group though, where it's like if you're a 1,000-yard receiver doing the things that he does, or just like we're going to send you deep and they just can't stop it. Yeah. It's like it's Tyreek Hill, it's Deshaun Jackson, and there's a couple of those examples, but that's just such a.
And those are
it's just unrealistic.
Those are anomalies.
Exactly. And
Brandon Cooks in the comments.
Brandon Cooks.
Yeah.
And that's somebody who is more in that like 700, 800 yard range, I guess. Again, like it's the same, like it's deep and all that sort of stuff, and he's clearing space. And I think maybe that's
Brandon
what Marvin
Cooks had
can be.
a lot of catches though, like a lot of catches. Like,
interesting.
In at least when we played against him in New Orleans, he wasn't a 2-catch, 3-catch a game guy. Like they were throwing him the ball a lot.
Interesting.
Yeah, I feel like he was getting open a lot, like east to west, just running across the field, and they were hitting him.
And what Mims is going into year 4 or 3?
Year 3.
3, yes, because he's been.
All right, so we're starting to know like who he is.
Yeah.
Like, people could say Brandon Cooks, but like, Brandon Cooks came onto the scene pretty hot. Like, he was a guy.
Yep. And Marvin, if he is what he just was last year, that is valuable.
Oh, yeah.
Like, that shouldn't be diminished. Like, that's a guy worth bringing him back on a second contract. It might not be a big number, but 2-time All-Pro kick returner, like, that is valuable. And it's going to keep getting more valuable as they kind of figure out this kickoff rule. You throw in, like, the stuff he does on offense, and it just changes things up. You want to throw him and Troy out there together. Now you got all the speed, clearing things out. You can work Evan Ingram underneath. You can work Court underneath. You can send those guys deep, too. And all of a sudden, like, for Verts, there's going to be a space out there somewhere. It's a very valuable role. It's just, can he actually be the 1,000-yard receiver who kind of carries an offense? We gotta see him find other ways to get open.
I was gonna say he has to be way more of a technician. All of these guys that we're
Exactly.
talking about are guys who can just get open against anyone at any time. Whereas like you've seen the way that Sean has designed getting the ball it's not just go win your matchup.
Exactly.
It's, let's find you, and I guess if you're going way down the field it is, but usually it's let's get you in space and let you beat a couple guys without needing to run a crazy route.
So we've talked a lot about the receivers that played here last year, but we haven't talked about Pat Bryant. Like,
No.
is he going to get on the field?
He might be their number 2 receiver.
You think so?
He might be.
You think he can
might
come in
be.
here as a rookie?
I mean,
And
here's the thing.
I'm not saying that he can't, but I mean that's a lot.
It is a lot. And I think he's a guy who was a second-team All-Big Ten receiver last year. You know who didn't get on one of those teams? Emeka Egbuka, who was a first-round draft pick. It's like, who did the Pac-12 coaches, who did the Pac-12 media think was the more valuable player last year?
Big 10.
Big Ten. Sorry. I love the Pac-12. I miss it so much. They said it's Pat Bryant, and there's a lot to look at. And the fact that he was at like 960 yards or something instead of over 1,000, it's crazy how much that matters. But it does change. Like, you look at it right away, and you're just like, But then you go through and see, he had the most yards for scrimmage by a wide margin, like 200, 300 more than anybody else on the Illinois team. The Illinois team that won 10 games for the first time in 25 years. Like, wait, this guy was the focal point of an offense that did something nobody expected from Illinois. And because he doesn't have the 40 time, because the numbers aren't like by themselves blowing you away, he just doesn't get the attention of other guys. And I think the way he wins, the route running, the physicality, like the hands that he has, similar to DeVaughn Vele, I think, in terms of can find ways to make those catches, but just maybe with a tick more explosiveness. Maybe the route running is just a little bit sharper, and against man coverage, you can get a little bit more out of him. I like his chances to be wide receiver 2 by the end of the year for sure.
If he comes in, if he gets to receiver 2 by the end of the year, that means that it's probably coming midway through the season. Mm-hmm. That's going to be really exciting.
It is.
That's going to be very exciting because then now you know Sean really loves this guy. That means Bo is throwing to him a ton. Mm-hmm. He's getting open. I'm not going to say that it can't happen. I know that playing in Sean's offense is a lot, especially for the first half of the season for any player, any young player, just because the amount of volume that there is. But he did say Michael Thomas.
He did.
He did. I mean,
Yeah.
He didn't say he was going to be like Michael Thomas, but he said there's a lot of comparison in traits. And one of the things that I liked about watching Pat Bryant in practice and some of the highlights that I saw Zach post is that he's a hands catcher.
Yep.
And
So
his
big.
Illinois highlights say that he's a hands catcher. And he's got big playability. So that would be super exciting. And if he gets off to a hot start in training camp and we're out at practice and Bo is throwing this dude the ball a ton, yeah, he will be receiver 2.
Totally.
My Pat Bryant take is that if you changed his name to Larry Fitzgerald Jr. and put him on Ohio State and gave him the exact same tape, he would have been a first-round pick.
Yeah. So if he was at Ohio State, you think first round pick?
I honestly do, yeah. It's just that his name is Pat Bryant and he went to Illinois. That no one heard of him until the Broncos selected him.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then everyone was like, what are we doing? And then people turned on the tape and were like, oh, this guy's actually really good. And then Sean Payton was like, yeah, we actually do our research over here. We know what we're talking about.
Yep.
And so I think no one would love it more than Sean Payton for Pat Bryant to win the wide receiver 2 job.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so I think he has a chance.
And I think when you get into the advanced numbers, that's where you can get really excited. Again, between 10 and 20 yards downfield, the 130 receivers across college football who had the most targets there, Pat was first with a passer rating of 145.8 when he was targeted there. So he's just finding those
Great
spaces.
stat, Henry.
Exactly.
Jeez.
And then when you go 1 to 10 yards, he's 6th out of 232. So like it's in that intermediate where he's great. Also very, very, very good short. Of the 302 receivers with the most targets, he was 7th against zone coverage in passer rating when targeted. So he's finding all those little pockets in the middle of the field, like in that intermediate part, which we saw, we talked about those dig routes, Courtland Sutton.
Yep.
Those sorts of things, those are where he excels. Again, like if he can just figure it out in man coverage, and that's why I brought it up, comparing to DeVaughn. Like I think there is a tick more creativity with the way he gets in and out of breaks. I think that he can be kind of functional in that way. And then against zone, he's kind of your zone beater. Can you get maybe pair him with some Marvin Mims, just drags, just find ways to find somebody else who can handle the man coverage. Maybe that's even just an Evan Ingram.
Yeah.
I think there are a lot of different ways to me where he could, at the very least, be valuable this year. A lot of different ways that you could use him. I also think there's a chance that you could just make him a high volume receiver and it would work out for him.
It's going to be interesting to see. I think Pat Bryant coming into training camp is going to be one of those players that you look out for. I'm curious to see how he'll do in the preseason. The preseason will tell us a lot because they're only playing man-to-man.
Yep.
And, you know, that's basically what the coaches are trying to find out on offense and defense, who can beat man and who can play man. But what I will say, and I've been in receiver rooms like this, that the competition level is going to bring the best out of these players, or it's going to expose you. And we're going to see that more so, at least from my point of view. Troy Franklin, what are you going to do now? You got some real dogs in there. Mims is already proven. He's got confidence. Courtland's, he's your number one.
Yep.
Vele has confidence. He has nothing to lose. He's a 7th-round pick, and he came in and had 43 catches.
Yep.
It's going to be super awkward in that room.
And
that's what I was talking about.
Totally.
I mean, because, you know, besides Courtland, even Courtland's going to be a little on the edge depending on when he gets his deal or not. If he gets his deal, then he's going to be fine. But everybody else is competing for catches. And then Mims, like, you're getting ready to talk about extension, you know, after the end of this season. Like, how are they going to pay you?
What are you?
You know, Pat Bryant and Vele and Troy Franklin, you guys are all within a year of each other. Like, who's about to be Bo's favorite receiver? Who is Bo going to really throw to? And then who is the quarterback? You know, is it Stidham? Yeah, that's the backup.
Yep.
Like, you know, he's got to be your favorite. Like, I had to become really good friends with Brock and Trevor. That's how who's going to help you make the team.
Yeah.
But Troy Franklin's going to have, I think Sean's going to put it on him to show a lot during the preseason to see if we can trust you now opening day. Because like opening day, we're not going to ease you in. Like, bro, like either you can catch this ball or not. Like, but Mims we feel really good about. But Troy Franklin, Vele, Pat Bryant, those three probably won't be sharing any conversations with each other. They won't be talking at all to each other.
People think we're joking. We're talking about those fringe offensive linemen always hanging out with Bo.
Totally, yeah. Frank Crum follows him everywhere.
100%.
It's not accidental.
No, when push
They
comes to
could be
shove,
really
it's
good
like,
friends, actually, but
yes.
still.
And they
It's
probably
not a
have
bad
become
idea to be
that,
really good friends with the franchise quarterback.
No, certainly is not.
And
Go back.
it shows that you care, and then like if Bo is leaning towards you, he needs a couple friends on the team that know help him feel really good.
I
and-
mean, Vlatko's kept around for how many years because he's good friends with Joker.
Yep. It's that's how it goes. There's a roster spot for that. I think
especially in the NBA.
going back to last there might be
It's
3
crazy.
roster spots for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think last year's training camp, Troy Franklin was the only guy who beat Pat deep. Like he cooked him. Like got 20 yards downfield, just blew right by him, and then dropped the ball. And it's like, oh, well, that's a shame because that would have been a real highlight.
You did the hard part.
You did the really hard part in team drills. Like everybody's locked in. It was on the field closer to the fans, so everybody's like, oh, and then he dropped it. DeVaughn Vele had a ridiculous. It was a one-handed catch in the back of the end zone with like guys' heels tapped really on the base. Made the play, scores the touchdown, and everybody's like, oh my goodness, who is this guy? Like this guy's got to make the team, right? And yeah, it's not that those one-to-one plays were the answer. But that is kind of how it goes.
Microcosm.
It meant
Shows the mentality.
for some reason DeVaughn Vele got the first opportunity last year, and when he ran with it, that meant Troy was like, "This week we can justify giving you a jersey. We'll send you on some go routes, see if anything happens." This is a big battle for that reason.
Huge battle. And then Vele, certain people just have it mentally where being in the NFL isn't a big deal to them. They're just good at football.
Totally.
Like, it just kind of is what it is. Like,
Yep.
Emmanuel was like that. It was like never like a big deal to him to like the fact that he was in the NFL. Like, oh no, bro, like I've been playing this, doing this my whole life. Odell Beckham is one of those players that I play with, like, where it didn't matter where he was playing or how many people were in the stands. It didn't matter to him. Like, he was just really good.
Yep.
Vaughn was like that. You see people like Tom Brady get drafted in the 6th round. Like, he doesn't fear like any failure. And maybe Vele has that within his game where like it's not a big deal that he's out there. For Franklin, this might be a big deal. Like, damn, I got drafted here, and they drafted me because I'm good with Bo. Like, I can't do anything wrong. Like, I'm curious to see like what they said to him on the phone. Or like, like, oh, we drafted you, make you feel comfortable with Bo. You're gonna be out there on day one. He's like, what? I'm gonna be playing on the first day. Like, you guys want to throw me the ball? Curious to see how he comes into year 2, what his mindset was. Cody was like that. Cody Latimer. He was like, he never wanted to mess up, and that hampered his game. And then you would see plays where he would go out there and he'd be like, damn, that's why we drafted him.
Yep.
But like, he had to get over that first part of like, should I be out here?
Yeah.
Well, and Peyton, from what I've heard, I wasn't there back then, but Peyton put a lot of pressure on him immediately.
100%. Well, they said that you draft a receiver in the 2nd round. Like, they expected him to like, oh yeah, it's going to be Demarius, Emmanuel, and Cody. After
Probably
Wesley's,
with a lot of Emmanuel in the slot, which would be interesting.
That's what they first wanted to do.
Yeah.
And then like, it's hard to play with Peyton. And then like, Cody would come out there. We'd all come out there and like, hey, what plays do we have? And then Peyton would switch him up.
Get him out of here.
Or he would switch up the play. Like, he'd audible. Like, he wanted you to be ready to play.
Yeah.
I mean, him, because you're not going to have your coach out there. But, Cody got over it and then ended up making big plays and played special teams. But, the growth from year 1 to year 2 is super important.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, that's what people say about playing with Nikola Jokic. Because out here we all say like, oh, it's so easy to play with Nikola. He just gets you so many points. And like all the stats are always so big. It's like, oh, everybody wants to play. But then you hear people who actually play with him be like, oh, he's really hard to play with because he knows everything that's happening everywhere. And so he's just going to throw the ball like you're back cutting. And if you didn't see the same cut, then you screwed up.
Yeah, he's hard to play with because he knows exactly what you should be doing, and he's pissed if you aren't doing it.
Exactly.
But a lot of people, what's funny is that's a great example to bring up that you guys have both brought up. And maybe it's that it can translate into what we're talking about in the NFL is that like everybody thinks that just because you play in the NFL that you understand football. Most of the NFL now is not because you're not athletic enough. It's the concept of the play.
Yep.
And a lot of people don't actually understand like, how to get open. Very similar to playing with Nikola Jokic or LeBron James or Steph Curry. Like playing with Steph. That's a unique way to play. He gets to do all the running. You just got to be ready. And then playing with Nikola, like, he can't always explain everything, but he has the instinct.
It's like, do you want Peyton Manning to be your quarterback if you're a receiver? 10 times out of 10, sign me up.
Yeah.
Really hard, though.
Oh, it's insane.
Well, the other thing is, like, I think a lot of guys will understand what they need to do on a play. But do they understand why?
Yes. Yeah.
And then that's the thing is, like, why are we calling this concept against cover 3?
Yeah.
And, okay, I'm supposed to run a 9, but, like, if you know that your job is actually to pull that, deep third out of there, then you're going to run your route a little bit different, kind of, like, try to catch his eye and bend away from him so he pull, like, whatever it may be. Like, what you're doing, but do you know why? And, like, the guys who are special at it, especially outside of the quarterback position, because quarterback, you have to know everyone's why.
Yeah.
But the guys that I think are separating at the other positions know why they're doing what they're doing and are able to help the play, even if they know the ball's not coming their way because they understand their role.
Yeah. I think that'll be Franklin's big next step. I think even Courtland. Like, this is going to be a different year. You haven't played with this much talent since DT and E were here. And you haven't played with a tight end like this at all. But now I think Courtland will take a bigger step. I think he's going to have a huge year. Because you haven't been this established in your role, along with a dynamic player like this.
Yeah,
you were too young when Demarius and Emmanuel were here.
I've got to jump on a call right at noon.
All good.
But I want to end this with one last quick question: 3 starting cornerbacks: Pat Surtain, Riley Moss, Jahdae Barron.
Yes. By the way, we didn't really mention it yesterday, but Jahdae did sign his contract.
He did sign his contract.
Yes. Is Jahdae corner 2? That's the question
that probably,
for the Broncos fans.
It is.
And Riley comes in as the 3rd corner.
I think it's Riley's start.
I think it is Riley to start.
But I think if things go south for Riley, it's probably Riley on the bench. Jaquan comes in as your nickel corner with Jade as the number 2.
Interesting to see.
Yeah, very interesting to see. Thanks, Benny, for joining us. We'll be doing
Great to
this
see you
a
guys.
lot more starting here pretty soon. Shout Ryan as well. Also, Dion.
So disappointed.
Yeah, no, you did great too. Me and actually not me and Ryan will be back. Me and somebody will be back tomorrow, and we will talk then. Thank you all for watching. Give us a like on the way out.
We all silly like the mayor.